I'm a tournament-based fighter. I could fight 3-4 times in one night.
Knight proved that he was ready to throw down, beating his opponent by unanimous decision in his UFC debut. But don't for a second think he is satisfied.
I need to taste UFC gold, man. I want to fight the best of the best. I always have and always will.
And while he may seem like a seasoned pro, he's relatively new to mixed martial arts. Knight wrestled in high school, but at 28 years old, he was looking to compete once again.
I want to get into this sport because I like the difficulty of it.
Now at 32 years old,
November will be 5 years I've been training. 4 years later, to date, right now, I'm in the UFC.
1-0 in the UFC, 9-1 as a pro overall, 8 of those wins by way of knockout. But these stats don't tell William Knight's story.
He had a rough childhood growing up.
Knight has been fighting years before he jumped into the cage. His first fight, not one of choice, rather one of survival at the hands of his stepfather.
Me and my brothers and my sisters, we were abused. It is what it is. My mom, she worked double jobs and stuff like that. She was working. She was so busy with just trying to take care of us. So that fight alone, as a young kid and growing up, was way more harsh than fighting in a cage. You're a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid who can't defend yourself against an adult. Then in foster care was no different. You thought you were safe and you really weren't. I was in the foster care, one of my experiences was being trapped in these little suitcase things, like a treasure chest thing that used to be at the end of the bed. You could put clothes in it. So this person would put me in that thing and sit on it just because I wouldn't give him my food.
Knight was bullied as a kid, and even to this day, he remembers all of their names.
You gotta realize, man, when you bring trauma to someone, those things in life are scarred. I remember their last name, how they look. I know exact word for word what they said to me, what they've done to me.
To deal with all that trauma, Knight retreated into himself. He was closed off and quiet, even created an alter ego.
I had to face this person my whole entire life, crying, looking in the mirror, trying to find balance. I would lose myself. I would think of weird, the end of life, what would happen if I died right now? It gets deep. An alter ego surfaced, and I was able to figure out how to pinpoint the problem and attack it. I started forgiving people. And the second I forgave people who did the worst to me, the weight on my shoulders lifted more and more.
And with forgiveness came healing. But as Knight began to heal himself, he had to fight another demon.
I was just happy with myself, man. I was eating, gaining weight. Doritos, Oreos, Jamaican beef patties, cocoa bread, soda. Before you know it, I was 297 pounds. So I'm 297. I'm unhealthy. I know I read up some stuff about African Americans and heart disease, and I just didn't want to be like this anymore, but it got worse. And then over time, I started to figure out, I need to do something.
Knight then came across an old wrestling picture, and that propelled him back to the gym.
In 2015 hit, when I seen that picture, and I'm just looking at it something's got to give. I want to do boxing. No, I do wrestling. I could do boxing. I was a champion in wrestling. I think I could be a champion in boxing. I just looked online. I see my friend. He fought at Reality Fighting, I believe it was. He was getting his hands raised in a cage. And I reached out to him. That's the best thing I could have did.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Knight started training, his coaches took notice, and now, as William Nightmare Knight says best,
I'm in the UFC.